Oh, it's getting more freakier now, isn't it?
Dark tales and headless horsemen await the most haunted team in the American village of Sleepy Hollow.
Come on, do something for you here.
And this week I brought my team to a place that many believe only exists in legend. A place filled with mysteries, headless phantoms and desperate ghosts. Welcome to Most Haunted and Sleepy Hollow. Situated less than 50 miles north of New York City, Sleepy Hollow lies on the banks of the Hudson River. Famed throughout the world for the tale of Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman, the legend of Sleepy Hollow is believed to have its origins in real events. Washington Irving, who wrote the book back in 1820, is said to have found inspiration from the story of a British major named Andre, who was hung for spying on this spot in 1780. It is believed, some say, that he is the Headless Horseman. The character of Ichabod Crane is said to have been based on Jesse Merwin, a local schoolmaster. However, the characters from the book and film are not the only phantoms said to haunt this place. Sleepy Hollow graveyard hides many unknown spirits that seem to seep from the soil in the dead of night. Relatively unexplored in paranormal circles, the unexplained whispers coupled with the eerie mist give this place a feeling that the dead walk amongst us. Featuring prominently in Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, this Dutch colonial-style chapel fosters and propagates all that is eerie in the confines of the Sleepy Hollow area. Among the many ghosts that are said to wander this place, the most prolific phantom is that of a lady wrapped in a cape, as though she's looking for something. But it's not just here that she's seen. A ghost has been seen here in the cemetery. As well as this apparition, there have been many strange occurrences witnessed here. Noises and strange mist seem to emanate from beneath the ground. But one of the most alarming figures is that of a tall man wearing dark clothing. He walks purposefully from between the gravestones and monuments. Some people believe that he's the legendary Headless Horseman. Others believe that he's a murdered soldier. One thing that they can all agree on is that this apparition has no head. Although collapsed many years ago, this is where a bridge once stood. Not just any bridge, but the bridge that helped start the Sleepy Hollow legend. As a large black charger carrying a seemingly headless rider rode across it, running down and killing its terrified victim. On certain nights, the sounds of hooves can be heard galloping in this area, along with the cries of a man in fear of his life. Some say he can be seen running through the woods, trying to escape his pursuer, followed by the terrifying image of the Sleepy Hollow's very own Headless Horseman. So, do the dead walk amongst the living here, or is it all just legend? We have 24 hours to find out. Given its eerie status as one of America's most haunted villages, what can historian Leslie Smith and the mayor of Sleepy Hollow, Philip Zegarelli, tell us about this place?
We're standing here in one of the earliest Dutch settlements in America. A very important place with some very important history and, of course, ghosts to go with it.
During Halloween, which is our big time here, it is very important to understand that people have actually claimed to have seen either the Headless Horseman or have seen apparitions.
He comes here to this place. Some say he weaves between the graves, a distant dark figure, and as you draw close, there's no head. Others say you hear thundering of a horseman. And as he gets closer and closer, you draw back to pull away and look up, and there's no head. Some say he comes from the War of Independence, but others say he came from the 1760s war between the French and the Indians. The other legend, of course, is the lady in the blue bonnet, but the one I like even better is the white lady who screams and howls. It's said she came out one bitter cold winter, and as the wind circled around her while she was looking for her husband, who was late home, she stumbled upon his lifeless body and lay upon him. And she lay upon him because she tried to warm him, but it was far too late. And I'm afraid she lost her life, laying across in the snow, Romeo and Juliet of Sleepy Hollow.
I do believe there's a special spirit and a haunting in this area. I know it's hard from a scientific point of view to rationalize it, but people have claimed to have seen apparitions, or certainly during certain times of the year and in different parts of the cemetery, there is this feeling, you get this sense of being. Certainly with the Headless Horseman and in some other areas where some of the mausoleums are. It's a very strong feeling on the part of people, and I can honestly say that I've had that feeling myself.
As a team, it is always an honour to conduct an investigation into a place of such legend. I'm keen to ask parapsychologist Dr. Kieran O'Keefe what his thoughts are prior to tonight's exploration. How excited are you to be here?
It's so fantastic. I've always dreamed of coming to a location that truly has a connection, a literary connection of this greatness, and it's superb.
And the author of the legendary Sleepy Hollow,
Washington Irving.
There he is. That's his family grave plot. So, about the whole place here, Sleepy Hollow, many people have seen a couple of apparitions, but obviously the one that I want to talk about is the large figure, this gentleman who's dressed in black. Many people believe that he is the Headless Horseman. Other people believe that he could be a murdered soldier. How come all these people are seeing the same apparition and he's got no head? Well, they can't all be wrong, or are they all making it up?
No, I don't think we're dealing with people that are necessarily making up. There might be an aspect of that, but you've got people giving very detailed reports. But also remember that they're saying that it's a dark figure, and then they're saying, oh, it might be a military man, it might be the Headless Horseman. So there is discrepancy in terms of what the man is actually wearing. Even though it's a dark clothing, people are interpreting different time periods, essentially. So there are differences between the accounts. In addition to that, remember that from 1859, when Washington Irving died and was buried here, from that point onwards, this area had this legend about the Headless Horseman. And even, I think there are references to it even before then. So we've got this great legend. And just imagine people coming into this particular area and feeding the legend, creating their own story, even having their own experiences, which may be genuine, they may be hallucinations, but it all adds and exaggerates the whole legend here.
Well, we're going to be in for a very interesting evening. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's going to be very different, isn't it?
Joined by medium and psychic artist Brian Shepherd, the Most Haunted team prepare to investigate the village of Sleepy Hollow. Brian has already sketched spirits from beyond the grave he believes walk this place. Will we too be witness to these spirits when we begin our investigation?
I just feel there's a substance here. There's something else here.
Oh, it's getting more freakier now, isn't it?
Oh, she went out. I'm out.
I have heard what sounded like thundering hooves. The Most Haunted team are in the state of New York. We are here to carry out a paranormal investigation into the village of Sleepy Hollow, the supposed home of the Headless Horseman. Said to be one of the most haunted places in America, we begin our exploration with a walk-around, accompanied by parapsychologist Dr. Kieran O'Keefe and medium Brian Shepherd.
For me and for Kieran, what we're interested in, a lot of people have told us during our years of doing this that graveyards don't have ghosts. There's no spirits here because they're all dead, they've all passed on. Do you think that's true? And if it's not true and you're finding that there are spirits here, can you tell us about them?
Now, I kind of agree, you know, in that all the people that are lying around here in these graves certainly didn't die here. So why would they come back and haunt here?
Yes.
In a sense. They're associated with somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, having said that, you know, there is something.
Oh, good.
Now, I can't put my finger on it. Earlier on, I was walking around here, and I went out into the, you know, wooded areas. And, you know, I'm an artist. I started to sketch a bit out on a pad. And lo and behold, I find myself putting in strange shapes. I'm thinking, well, they're not trees. And then part of a face. I just feel there's a substance here. There's something else here. Now, I haven't put my finger on it yet, but, you know, as I walk along here, you know, a few names might pop into my head. Now, I mean, let's face it, a lot of people to choose from. And thankfully, I'm not blind. I could be looking at tombstones.
Yeah.
You know. But there are a few names buzzing around.
Tell us,
you know,
tell
like,
us the name.
An obvious one is Samuel.
Yeah.
Samuel. That's a name that's popped in. Can I do a surname? I can't do a surname at the moment. Abraham pops in. There's a Howard comes into my mind, okay? Also a lady. I mean, there are lots and lots of ladies buried here, obviously.
Yeah.
But I feel there's a tie-in to the Dutch. Okay. Right. So a grand lady, von, I don't know, double or triple-barreled name, something like Eleanor or something, okay?
Her name is Eleanor
von,
something.
blah, 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 yeah, something like that, okay?
Do you think there's activity that goes on, or do you think they're just showing themselves as in shadowy figures?
Well, so far, that's exactly what I think, that it's shadowy figures.
Obviously, we know, everybody knows the legend of Sleepy Hollow and what it's associated with, the Headless Horseman. I'm going to ask you the obvious question. Do you sense a Headless Horseman, you know, in this part of the cemetery?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't. Of course, we're talking about a book and a film and fiction. Where did it all come from?
Yeah.
The author, Irving, Washington Irving.
Yeah.
Is there somewhere in history something that suggested to him a soldier, a beheading? Putting those elements together, we come up with a piece of fiction. Look to the basis of that fiction. What did he hear as maybe he walked through those woods?
Well, I think we should go to the woods, because that's where you were drawing earlier. That's where you picked up the figures.
Yeah.
You want to go there?
I
Where
do.
Irving would, you know, would have Washington Irving would have gone there.
Yeah.
With the sun setting and Brian believing that there is more to discover elsewhere in Sleepy Hollow, we make our way to the woods and to the Headless Horseman Bridge.